Hello, my name is Anne Nobbs and I run my company which is called Telmark Training. Started it in 1984, so we've been going for quite a long time. We specialise in training people in verbal communication. Mostly telephone skills, but not necessarily just telephone skills. Because verbal communication is a very important part of our lives and an extremely important part of our jobs. If we work in an environment where we're answering the telephone or making outbound calls all day, every day, I find that we tend to get into habit phrases and habit words. I quite often ask people, why did you use those words? They say, well, Anne, I don't really know, but I always have. Or when I started, I sat next to Sue, and that's what she says. So I find, therefore, that we are very much creatures of habit, and we use our words because we always have. Now, to me, that's not really good enough. We need to look not at the words, but the effect our words are having on the other person. Because after all, verbal communication is a simple thing. We give information using our voices, we receive information using our ears, and then, of course, we should be able to understand what the other person means. They should understand us. I found after so many years that a lot of communication goes wrong because people don't understand each other. So we're here to look at how we can put these things right and change some of our habits. So another very important area that we specialise in at Telmark is to be positive. Now, I've thought long and hard about why we as human beings are so negative. Why do we seem to specialise in looking on the dark side in life? Why is it when you say to somebody, that's a nice jacket, or your hair looks nice, all they tell you is that the jacket is very old and they've had it for a very long time and the hair needs a wash. So we seem to be very difficult at being able to take compliments and to be positive about ourselves. We also use a lot of negative vocabulary when we're working. Again, habits. We use words like unfortunately, I'm afraid, the problem is, I'm sorry, but, and we often start conversations with these words. Now, my impression from that is that the other person feels as though they have to duck because they're not going to like what's coming next. So with some training, we are able to say what we will do, not what we can't do. Because in fact, who really wants to know what we can't do? If we look on the positive side and change our habits, instead of saying something like, unfortunately, we can't fit you in until the 16th, that becomes, any time from the 16th is fully available. So the person that you're speaking to on the other end of the telephone, or even face to face, feels very differently about the situation. Cleverly, the situation has not changed. The date is still the 16th. But the way the other person feels about that particular date changes totally. So it's very easy to get into the right habit and use positive words and phrases and eliminate words like, unfortunately, I'm afraid, the problem is. These habits are something we can change. The first step to change is to be aware of a habit, and training gives awareness. So in conclusion, I've given you a little taster of what the training is all about that Telmark runs. It's a successful and friendly atmosphere. It gives you the chance to enjoy whilst learning and changing habits that you may have had all your life. Changing habits is not easy, we know, but the first step is to be aware. So thank you for watching this presentation, and please read more about Telmark by looking at our website. Thank you and goodbye.